Satya Nadella was not Steve Jobs, not Elon Musk, not Larry Ellison. No reality distortion field, no Twitter rants, no bombastic announcements. Quiet, thoughtful, strategic. Born August 19, 1967. Hyderabad, India. Son of civil servant. Studied electrical engineering. Manipal Institute of Technology. Then MS in computer science. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Then MBA. University of Chicago, Booth. Joined Microsoft 1992. Age 25. Server and Tools Division. Enterprise. Not sexy consumer products. Not Windows. Not Office, back-end, infrastructure, cloud. He climbed, quietly, ran Bing, search engine. Failed to beat Google, but learned. Ran cloud and enterprise, Azure, growing fast. Beating Amazon in some segments. He understood. Future was cloud, not Windows, not Office, not devices, cloud, February 2014. Board chose him, CEO, over external candidates, over flashier insiders. They chose quiet revolution, not loud disruption. Nadella's first act, email to employees. Our industry does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation. Message clear. Microsoft's past irrelevant. Future mattered. He killed Windows Phone. Wrote off Nokia, 7.6 billion loss. Admitted defeat. Mobile was lost. Focus on cloud. He made Office cloud-based. Office 365. Subscription model. Recurring revenue. He partnered with competitors. Apple, Google, Samsung, Linux, Android. Old Microsoft fought them. New Microsoft worked with them. Revenue over pride. He invested. Azure, data centers. Artificial intelligence. Machine learning. By 2024, Azure revenue 100 billion. Microsoft worth 2.8 trillion. Quiet revolution. Loud results. April 4, 1975. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Bill Gates and Paul Allen founded Microsoft. Building software for Altair 8800. Early personal computer. They were 20 and 22 years old. Ambitious. Brilliant. They moved to Seattle. 1979. Focused on operating systems. 1981. IBM chose Microsoft. PC operating system. MS-DOS was born. Microsoft exploded. By 1985. Windows launched. Graphical interface. Mouse support. Revolutionary for PCs, 1990. Windows 3.0, huge success. By 1995. Windows 95. Cultural phenomenon. Lines at stores. Midnight launches. Microsoft dominated. 90% of PCs ran Windows. Bill Gates became richest person alive. 2000. Steve Ballmer became CEO. Gates remained chairman. Chief software architect. Ballmer was salesman. Energy. Passion. Developers, developers, developers. His famous chant. He grew Microsoft. Revenues 25 billion to 77 billion. But he missed everything. 2007. iPhone launched. Ballmer laughed. $500? Most expensive phone in the world. Does not appeal to business. No keyboard. Catastrophically wrong. iPhone destroyed Windows Mobile. 2008. Google launched Android. Open source. Free. Manufacturers adopted it. Windows Mobile died. Ballmer tried fighting. Windows Phone. 2010. Bought Nokia. 2014. $7.2 billion. Disaster. Windows Phone market share never exceeded 3%. Nokia written off. 7.6 billion loss. Total failure. 2008. Cloud computing emerged. Amazon Web Services. Launched 2006. Growing explosively. Microsoft had data centers. Infrastructure. But Ballmer focused on Windows. On Office. On devices. Not cloud. Azure existed. Launched 2010. But small. Underfunded. Distant second to AWS. By 2013. Microsoft was dinosaur. Dominant in dying market. PCs. Irrelevant in growing markets. Mobile. Cloud. Social. Stock stagnant. $26. Market cap 230 billion. Apple was 400 billion. Google 300 billion. Microsoft falling behind. Board was frustrated. Ballmer announced retirement. August 2013. After 13 years CEO, he grew revenues, but missed future. Completely. Board needed change. Visionary. Someone who understood cloud. Enterprise. Future. They found Satya Nadella. Satya Nadella joined Microsoft 1992. Recent immigrant from India. MS in computer science from University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Age 25. Joined server and tools division. Not glamorous. not Windows or Office teams. Back-end. Infrastructure. Enterprise software. Unsexy but critical. Nadella was different. Not typical Microsoft, not aggressive, not loud, quiet, thoughtful, empathetic. He listened. He learned. He climbed steadily, ran various enterprise teams, business solutions. Server tools, online services. 2007. Promoted to Senior Vice President, Search and Advertising. Ran Bing, Microsoft's search engine. Trying to compete with Google. Failed. Bing never exceeded 20% market share. Google dominated. But Nadella learned. Search required infrastructure, data centers, cloud computing, machine learning, artificial intelligence. He saw future. 2011. Nadella took over cloud and enterprise, server and tools, Azure, Microsoft's cloud platform. Launched 2010. Small, struggling. Amazon Web Services dominated. 70% market share. Azure had 15%. Nadella transformed it. He hired engineers, built data centers, 40 regions worldwide. He made Azure open, compatible with Linux, with open source. Old Microsoft hated Linux. Ballmer called it cancer. Nadella partnered with it. Most Azure workloads ran Linux, not Windows. Nadella did not care. Revenue mattered, not ideology. He made Azure enterprise-focused. While AWS targeted startups, Nadella targeted Fortune 500, banks, governments, healthcare, industries needing security, compliance, reliability. Enterprise paid more, stayed longer. Azure grew, revenues doubled yearly. By 2013. Clear Azure was future. Nadella was rising star. Board noticed. Ballmer retiring. Who next? External candidates considered. Ford CEO Alan Mulally. Others. Internal candidates. Tony Bates. Skype. Flashy. Aggressive. Satya Nadella. Cloud and enterprise. Quiet. Strategic. Board debated. Mulally withdrew. Did not want job. Bates too aggressive. Too risky. Nadella was safe. Proven. Understood Microsoft. Understood future. Cloud. Enterprise. Not consumer. Not devices. February 4, 2014. Board chose Nadella. Third CEO in Microsoft history. After Gates. After Ballmer. Age 46. First non-founder CEO. Born outside America. Indian immigrant. Cricket lover. Thoughtful reader. Completely different from Ballmer's bombast. Wall Street unsure. Stock barely moved. Nadella was unknown. Quiet. Not charismatic. Could he lead Microsoft? Transform it? Compete with Apple? Google? Amazon? Nobody knew. But Nadella knew. He had plan. Cloud first, mobile first. Transform Microsoft. Or die trying. February 4, 2014. Satya Nadella's first day CEO. He sent email. To all employees. 100,000 people worldwide. Subject line. Bold ambition and our core. Email began. Many companies aspire to change the world. But very few have all the elements required. Talent, resources, and perseverance. Microsoft has proven that it has all three in abundance. Then vision. We will reinvent productivity to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Not about Windows. Not about Office. Not about devices. About productivity. Cloud, services, empowering people. Message was clear. Microsoft's mission changed. Old Microsoft. A computer on every desk and in every home, running Microsoft software. Gates's vision. Achieved. Then became prison. New Microsoft. Empower every person and organization on planet to achieve more. Platform agnostic. Cloud first. Customer first. Nadella's first major decision. July 2014. Made Office available on iPad. Revolutionary. Old Microsoft would never. Office was Windows exclusive. Kept users locked to Windows PCs. Nadella broke the lock. Put Office on iPad. On Android. On competitors' platforms. Ballmer's team resisted. Heresy. Giving Microsoft's crown jewel to Apple. Nadella insisted. Customers wanted Office on devices they owned. Not devices Microsoft wanted them to own. Customer first. Revenue followed. Office on iPad. Instant hit. Downloaded millions of times. Subscriptions surged. Office 365. Cloud-based subscription model. $12 monthly. Recurring revenue. Predictable. Growing. Better than one-time purchase. September 2014. Nadella announced. Microsoft loves Linux at conference. Slide displayed. Microsoft, Linux. Audience gasped. Microsoft hated Linux. Open source. Ballmer called it cancer. Threatened lawsuits. Now Nadella embraced it. Made Azure Linux compatible. Most Azure workloads ran Linux. Nadella did not care. Revenue mattered. Customers wanted Linux. Microsoft provided it. July 2015. Biggest move. Killed Windows Phone. Admitted defeat. Mobile was lost. Wrote off Nokia acquisition. $7.6 billion. Largest write-off in Microsoft history. Laid off 18,000 employees. Most from Nokia. Painful. Necessary. Nadella ended the fantasy. Microsoft would not win mobile. Focus resources on cloud. On productivity. On what Microsoft could win. Wall Street shocked. $7.6 billion loss. 18,000 layoffs. But also relieved. Microsoft finally admitted reality. Stopped throwing money at losing battle. Stock rose. Investors approved. Nadella was killing sacred cows. Windows everywhere. Office exclusivity. Hating Linux. Fighting mobile. All dead. New Microsoft emerging. Cloud first. Customer first. Platform agnostic. Old guard resisted. This was not Microsoft they knew. Nadella persisted. Board supported. Transformation accelerating. Amazon Web Services dominated cloud. Launched 2006. 8 years head start. By 2014, AWS revenue $5 billion annually. 70% market share. Microsoft Azure distant second. $1 billion revenue. 15% market share. Google Cloud even smaller. Nadella needed to close gap. He invested massively. Capital expenditure doubled. From $8 billion to $16 billion annually. Building data centers. Worldwide. 60 regions. More than AWS. More than Google combined. Azure needed presence. Near customers. Latency mattered. Speed mattered. Nadella hired engineers, thousands cloud architects, software developers, data scientists, poached from Amazon, from Google, from startups, paid top dollar, best talent. He positioned Azure differently than AWS. Amazon targeted startups, tech companies, offered low prices, flexible infrastructure, move fast, break things. Nadella targeted enterprises, Fortune 500 companies, banks, governments, healthcare, manufacturing, offered security, compliance, reliability, integration with Microsoft products. Enterprises trusted Microsoft, decades of relationship. They ran Windows, Office, SQL Server. Azure integrated seamlessly. Hybrid cloud, on-premise and cloud together. AWS forced full migration, all or nothing. Azure offered gradual transition. Keep some servers on-premise. Move others to cloud. CIOs preferred this. Less risk, less disruption. Azure grew. Revenues doubled yearly. 2015, $3 billion. 2016, $6 billion. 2017, $12 billion. AWS still larger, $20 billion revenue. But gap closing. Microsoft catching up. Key partnerships accelerated growth. 2016, LinkedIn acquisition. $26.2 billion. Largest acquisition in Microsoft history. LinkedIn had data, professional network, 500 million users, integrating with Office, with Azure, with Dynamics, created productivity ecosystem. 2017, partnership with Adobe, Creative Cloud integrating with Azure, with Office, designers, marketers, using Microsoft tools. 2017, partnership with SAP, enterprise software giant, running SAP on Azure, migrating customers. Thousands of large companies, partnership with GE, industrial internet, running analytics on Azure, manufacturing data, predictive maintenance. These partnerships mattered. Enterprises followed. If Adobe trusted Azure, if SAP trusted Azure, they could trust Azure. Nadella built credibility. AWS was startup platform. Azure was enterprise platform. Different markets, different customers, both growing. But Azure growing faster. Market share 2014, 15%. Market share 2017, 25%. 10 points gained. AWS losing share. Google gaining slowly, but Microsoft surging. Cloud wars intensifying, but Microsoft was winning. Enterprise cloud. Their domain. Office was Microsoft's cash cow. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, billions in revenue annually. Dominant productivity software, 90% market share. But model was broken. One-time purchase, buy Office, own it forever, or until next version. Revenues lumpy. Every 3 years. New Office version. Customers bought. Or did not. Unpredictable. Unsustainable. Cloud changed everything. June 2011. Office 365 launched. Under Ballmer. Cloud-based Office. Subscription model. $10 monthly per user. Later $12. Access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. Always updated. Latest features. Cloud storage. OneDrive. 1 terabyte. Email hosting. Exchange Online. Collaboration tools. SharePoint. Teams later. Initial adoption slow. Businesses resisted. Why pay monthly? Owned previous Office. Worked fine. Nadella pushed harder. Made Office 365 priority. February 2014. Became CEO. Immediately expanded. Office on iPad. On Android. On Mac. Subscribe once. Use everywhere. Businesses reconsidered. Employees wanted Office on personal devices. iPads, iPhones, Android phones. Office 365 enabled this. IT departments approved. Centralized management, security, control. Subscriptions grew. 2014, 5 million subscribers. 2015, 15 million. 2016, 25 million. 2017, 30 million commercial subscribers. Revenue model transformed. Predictable recurring revenue. Monthly subscriptions. Compounding growth. Office revenue 2014, 25 billion. Office 365, 3 billion. 12%. Office revenue 2020, 40 billion. Office 365, 30 billion. 75%. Transformation complete. Subscription dominated. One-time purchases dying. Cloud One. Nadella added features. Made Office 365 indispensable. 2017. Microsoft Teams launched. Collaboration platform. Chat. Video calls. File sharing. Competing with Slack. With Zoom. Integrated with Office. Free for Office 365 subscribers. Adoption exploded. 2020. COVID pandemic. Remote work mandatory. Teams became essential. Daily users, 44 million March 2020. Daily users, 75 million April 2020. Daily users, 115 million October 2020. Fastest growing Microsoft product ever. Pandemic accelerated Office 365 adoption. Companies needed cloud collaboration. Remote work tools, Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, Office 365 provided everything. Subscriptions surged. By 2021, Office 365 revenue 50 billion annually. More than half of Microsoft's productivity revenue. Subscription model proved superior. Recurring revenue, predictable, growing. Higher margins than one-time sales. Nadella's bet paid off. Office transformed. From software you bought to service you subscribed. Cloud revolution complete. Satya Nadella understood. Cloud was infrastructure, but intelligence was future. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. Azure needed AI built in, not just storage and compute. Intelligent cloud. 2016. Microsoft reorganized, created AI and research division, merged Microsoft research with engineering. 5,000 researchers and engineers. Led by Harry Shum. Mission, infuse AI everywhere. Windows, Office, Azure, Bing, Xbox, gaming, all products. Nadella invested billions in AI research, neural networks, natural language processing, computer vision, speech recognition, hired top talent. Poached from Google, from Facebook, from academia, gave them resources, data, computing power, freedom to research. 2019. Major breakthrough, partnership with OpenAI, non-profit AI research company. Founded by Sam Altman, Elon Musk, others. Mission, ensure AI benefits humanity. Microsoft invested $1 billion. Not for equity, for partnership. Access to AI models. Integration with Azure. OpenAI would build AI, run on Azure infrastructure. Microsoft would commercialize. Sell to enterprises, win-win. Critics questioned. Why invest in nonprofit? Nadella saw a long game. AI would transform computing. OpenAI had talent, vision. Microsoft had infrastructure, capital, distribution, together unstoppable. 2020. OpenAI released GPT-3, generative pre-trained transformer, large language model, trained on internet-scale data, could write, code, translate, summarize, converse, revolutionary, ran on Azure, exclusive cloud provider. Businesses wanted access. Microsoft provided through Azure, AI services, APIs, pre-trained models. Developers integrated, built AI-powered applications. Azure became AI platform. Not just cloud infrastructure, intelligent cloud. machine learning services, cognitive services, vision, speech, language, decision, Azure ML, train custom models, deploy at scale. All integrated, seamless, enterprises adopted. Financial services used AI for fraud detection, healthcare for diagnosis assistance, retail for recommendation engines, manufacturing for predictive maintenance, transportation for route optimization, all on Azure. Intelligent cloud. Revenue grew. 2020, Azure revenue $30 billion. AI services significant portion, growing faster than infrastructure. Higher margins, more defensible. Competitors struggled. AWS had AI services, but not OpenAI partnership, not GPT-3. Google had AI expertise, but not enterprise distribution, not Azure integration. Microsoft combined AI research, OpenAI partnership, Azure infrastructure, enterprise relationships, unbeatable combination. Intelligent cloud. Nadella's vision realized, not just renting servers, providing intelligence, transforming business. AI everywhere, running on Azure. This was future, and Microsoft owned it. Gaming was Microsoft's wild card. November 2001, original Xbox launched. Microsoft entering console market, against Sony PlayStation, against Nintendo. Bold move, high risk, lost billions initially, but Ballmer persisted. November 2005, Xbox 360, more successful. Online gaming, Xbox Live, community, subscriptions. November 2013, Xbox One, mixed reception, always online requirements, used game restrictions. Consumers rebelled. Microsoft reversed, but damage done. PlayStation 4 dominated, Xbox struggling. Nadella became CEO 2014, questioned gaming investment. Billions spent. Profitability unclear. Consider selling, divesting. Phil Spencer convinced him otherwise. Head of Xbox, gaming was not just consoles. Cloud gaming, subscriptions, services, massive market, growing. Nadella listened, approved investment, but demanded transformation. Gaming as service, not just hardware. June 2017, Xbox Game Pass launched. Subscription service, $10 monthly, access to hundreds of games. Netflix for gaming, download and play, unlimited. Initial skepticism. Would people subscribe or buy games individually? They subscribed. Millions. Game Pass grew. 2018, 5 million subscribers. 2020, 15 million. 2021, 25 million. Recurring revenue, predictable, growing. Nadella approved. This was cloud model, applied to gaming. Then acquisitions began. September 2020, Bethesda acquisition, $7.5 billion. ZeniMax Media, Bethesda Softworks, publisher of Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Starfield, massive franchises, exclusive to Xbox and PC. Game Pass got day one access. Subscriptions surged. January 2022, Activision Blizzard acquisition announced. $68.7 billion. Largest gaming acquisition ever. Largest Microsoft acquisition ever. Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, Overwatch, Diablo. Massive franchises. 300 million monthly players. Publishers of some of the world's most popular games. Regulatory scrutiny intense. FTC sued to block. EU investigated. UK Competition and Markets Authority concerned. Microsoft negotiated, offered concessions. Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years. Cloud gaming licenses for competitors. Addressed concerns. October 2023. Deal closed. $68.7 billion. Microsoft now owned Activision Blizzard. Gaming division transformed. Revenue 2014, $10 billion. Revenue 2023, $20 billion after Activision. Gaming now third pillar. Alongside cloud, alongside productivity. Xbox Game Pass, 34 million subscribers, growing. Cloud gaming. Stream games to any device, phone, tablet, TV, no console needed. Azure powered. Everything connected. Gaming, cloud, AI, subscriptions, Nadella's strategy. Applied everywhere. Gaming was not distraction. Was core business, entertainment, engagement, recurring revenue. Microsoft now third largest gaming company. Behind Tencent, behind Sony, but growing fastest. Activision integration. Game Pass growth. Cloud gaming expansion. Future bright. Gaming validated Nadella's vision. Services, subscriptions, cloud, everything connected. Developers hated Microsoft for decades. Closed source, proprietary, anti-competitive. Embrace, extend, extinguish. Microsoft's strategy. Adopt competitor technology. Extend with proprietary features. Extinguish competition. Developers remembered. Distrusted Microsoft. Ballmer era. Linux is cancer. Lawsuits against open source. Aggressive licensing. Developers fled. To Apple, to Google, to open source. Microsoft was enemy. Nadella changed everything. February 2014. Became CEO, declared, Microsoft loves developers. Not just words, actions. Made Visual Studio free. Community edition. Full-featured, no cost. Developers downloaded millions. Open-sourced .NET, Microsoft's development framework. Released on GitHub. Cross-platform. Linux, Mac, Windows. Community contributed. Embraced open source. Contributed to Linux kernel. To Kubernetes. To hundreds of projects. Hired open source developers. Gave them freedom. Partnered with Red Hat. With Canonical. With SUSE. Linux companies. Former enemies. Now partners. Developers noticed. Microsoft changed. But biggest move, June 2018. Microsoft acquired GitHub. $7.5 billion. GitHub was developer heaven. Code repository. Version control. Collaboration platform. 100 million developers. Most popular projects hosted on GitHub. Open source community lived there. Announcement sparked panic. Microsoft owning GitHub. Developers threatened to leave. Moved to GitLab. To Bitbucket. To alternatives. Nadella promised. GitHub stays independent. Nat Friedman CEO. Not Microsoft executive. GitHub's values preserved. Open, neutral, developer first. Microsoft delivered. GitHub remained independent. Friedman led. Investments increased. Features improved. GitHub Actions. CI/CD integration. GitHub Codespaces. Cloud development environments. Free unlimited private repositories. GitHub sponsors. Pay open source developers. Developers stayed, grew. By 2020. GitHub had 56 million developers. 73 million repositories. Largest developer platform. Microsoft earned trust. Developers saw. GitHub better under Microsoft. More resources. More features. Still independent. Still neutral. Integration with Microsoft products. Azure. Visual Studio Code. LinkedIn. But optional. Not forced. Developers appreciated. GitHub acquisition was masterstroke. Gave Microsoft credibility. With developers. With open source community. Trust rebuilt. Developers now built on Microsoft tools. Visual Studio Code. Most popular code editor. Free, open source, cross-platform, runs everywhere. Azure for hosting. GitHub for code. VS Code for development. Complete ecosystem. Developer friendly. Microsoft's developer tools. Revenue 2024, $10 billion annually. Growing. But more important, mind share. Developers loved Microsoft. Again. Or at least tolerated. Trusted. Nadella accomplished impossible. Made Microsoft developer friendly. Open source champion. Trusted platform. From enemy to ally. Developer love. Priceless. March 2020. COVID-19 pandemic. Governments ordered lockdowns. Offices closed. Employees sent home. Remote work. Mandatory. Overnight. Companies scrambled. How to collaborate. Video calls. Chat. File sharing. Document collaboration. Suddenly essential. Microsoft Teams ready. Launched November 2017. Slack competitor. Integrated with Office 365. Free for subscribers. Adoption slow initially. Slack dominated. 43% market share. Teams 21%. Then pandemic hit. March 11, 2020. Businesses desperate. Enable remote work. Fast. IT departments deployed Teams. Familiar. Integrated with Office. Secure. Enterprise ready. Users 44 million. March 12th. Users 50 million. March 20th. Users 75 million. April 30th. Users 100 million. Fastest growth. Any Microsoft product ever. Daily Teams meetings 200 million. April 2020. Up from 35 million February. 6 times growth. In 2 months. Unprecedented. Slack struggled. Could not scale. Customers switched. Teams had advantages. Included with Office 365. No extra cost. Integrated. Calendar, email, OneDrive, SharePoint. Everything connected. Slack was standalone. Chat only. Teams was platform. Collaboration hub. By October 2020. Daily users, 115 million. Slack, 12 million. Teams 1. Pandemic accelerated adoption, but also validated strategy. Office 365 cloud-based subscription model. Integrated services. When crisis hit, companies with Office 365 ready. Switched to remote, seamlessly. Companies without, scrambled. Bought Office 365. Adopted Teams. Remote work became permanent. Even post-pandemic. Hybrid work. Teams remained essential. October 2021. Daily users 150 million. Revenue impact massive. Office 365 subscriptions surged. Commercial seats grew 25% year over year. Microsoft Cloud revenue. Fiscal 2021, 60 billion, up from 40 billion. Previous year, pandemic was catalyst. Accelerated digital transformation. 5 years compressed into 5 months. Every company became software company. Needed cloud, needed collaboration, needed Microsoft. Azure grew. Companies moved workloads to cloud. Remote access required. Cloud infrastructure. Migrations accelerated. Azure revenue. Fiscal 2021, 50 billion, up from 30 billion. Gaming grew. Xbox Game Pass, people home, playing games. Subscriptions surged. Pandemic year. Fiscal 2021. Microsoft revenue, 168 billion, up from 143 billion. Net income, 61 billion, up from 44 billion. Stock doubled from $150 to $300. Market cap, 2 trillion. Pandemic validated. Nadella's strategy. Cloud first. Subscriptions. Services. When world changed. Microsoft ready. Not just survived, thrived. July 2019. Microsoft invested $1 billion. OpenAI. Partnership announced. OpenAI would use, exclusively, Azure for training AI models. Microsoft would commercialize OpenAI's technology through Azure. Critics questioned, why invest in nonprofit? No equity. No obvious return. Nadella saw bigger picture. AI was future. OpenAI had talent. Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Ilya Sutskever. Top AI researchers, building frontier models. Microsoft had infrastructure, Azure, capital, distribution, enterprise relationships. Perfect partnership. May 2020. OpenAI released GPT-3, generative pre-trained transformer. Third generation, 175 billion parameters. Trained on internet-scale text. Could write, code, translate, summarize, answer questions. Shockingly capable. Ran exclusively on Azure. Developers accessed through APIs. Built applications. Text generation. Code completion. Chatbots. Thousands of uses. Azure became AI platform. November 2022. OpenAI launched ChatGPT, consumer-facing chatbot. Built on GPT 3.5. Publicly available. Free. Anyone could try. Response was explosive. 1 million users. 5 days. 100 million users. 2 months. Fastest consumer app. Reach 100 million ever. Viral. Everyone trying. Asking questions. Getting answers. Writing emails. Coding. Creating content. AI became mainstream. Overnight. Microsoft saw opportunity. January 2023. Announced additional investment. $10 billion. OpenAI partnership. Extended. Deepened. Microsoft would integrate OpenAI technology into products. Bing, search engine, with ChatGPT integration. Conversational search. Answer questions, not just links. February 2023. New Bing launched, powered by GPT-4. OpenAI's latest. More capable, more accurate, multimodal, understanding images. Bing became AI search, conversational, interactive. Google scrambled. Launched Bard, their AI chatbot. Rushed. Buggy, gave wrong answer. Demo, stock dropped 7%. 100 billion. Market value, lost. Microsoft gained. Bing market share grew from 3% to 4%. Small, but directionally correct. March 2023. Microsoft 365 Copilot announced. AI assistant integrated. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, everywhere. Write emails. Summarize meetings. Create presentations. Analyze data. Using GPT-4. Through Azure. Productivity reimagined. GitHub Copilot. Already successful. AI pair programmer. Suggest code. Auto-completes functions. Developers loved it. Million subscribers. Paying $10 monthly. Microsoft 365 Copilot. Launched November 2023. $30 per user monthly. Added to Office 365. Subscription. Enterprises adopted. Fortune 500. Using AI. Daily work. Azure OpenAI service. Hundreds of companies. Building custom AI using GPT-4. Running on Azure exclusive. Microsoft's AI advantage. Undeniable. OpenAI partnership. Strategic masterstroke. Nadella's long-term vision. Paying off massively. Cloud Wars. Three giants. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, AWS launched. 2006. 8 years head start. Dominated. 2014. Market share 70%. Revenue $5 billion annually, growing 50%. Year over year, unstoppable, or so it seemed. Microsoft entered Azure 2010. Slow start. Enterprise focus, integration with Office, Windows, SQL Server. Existing customers migrated gradually. By 2014, market share 15%. Revenue $1 billion. Distant second. Google Cloud, later entrant. 2017, formally Google Cloud Platform, GCP, leveraged Google, technology, AI, machine learning, Kubernetes, open source, market share 5%. Third place, far behind. Nadella accelerated. Investment, data centers, 60 regions, more than AWS, global presence, hybrid cloud, on-premise, integration, enterprises preferred, gradual migration, AWS forced, all or nothing, Azure flexible. Market share grew. 2017, 25%. 2020, 30%. 2023, 35%. Gains every year. AWS still largest, but losing share. 2023, 45%. Down from 70. Google growing. 2023, 10%. Up from 5, but slow. Microsoft surging. Revenue comparison. 2024, AWS revenue, $90 billion annually. Azure revenue, $80 billion annually. Google Cloud revenue, $30 billion annually. Gap closing. Microsoft catching AWS, soon overtake. Some analysts predicted. 2025, Azure revenue exceeds AWS. First time. Microsoft number one. Cloud infrastructure. How Microsoft won. Enterprise relationships, decades long. Trust, security, compliance, hybrid cloud. Flexibility, integration, Office 365. Productivity, AI, OpenAI partnership, GPT integration. Unique advantage, developer tools, GitHub, Visual Studio, ecosystem, complete stack. AWS strengths, breadth of services, 200 plus. Mature ecosystem, startup friendly, low cost, innovation speed, but enterprise migration, slower. Google strengths, AI and ML, native capabilities, Kubernetes, open source, data analytics, BigQuery, but enterprise relationships, weak. Salesforce, small, lost deals. To AWS, to Azure. Market dynamics, shifted. Enterprises chose Azure. Startups chose AWS. Developers chose mix, multi-cloud, common strategy. Use multiple. Avoid lock-in, but primary cloud. Azure gaining. Office 365. Integration mattered. Businesses already. Microsoft customers. Azure natural choice. Cloud wars. Continued. AWS fought back. Price cuts. New services. Innovation. Google invested. Billions. Hired sales. Enterprise push. But Microsoft momentum. Undeniable. Nadella's strategy. Working. Enterprise cloud. Microsoft's domain. Winning. February 4, 2014. Satya Nadella became CEO. Microsoft market cap. $300 billion. Stock price. $37. Revenues. $77 billion annually. Cloud revenue. Minimal. Azure barely started. Office still desktop. Windows dominant, but PC market. Declining. Mobile market. Lost. Future uncertain. Investors skeptical. Stock stagnant. Years. October 2024. 10 years later. Microsoft market cap. $2.8 trillion. Stock price. $420. Revenues. $245 billion annually. Cloud revenue. $100 billion. 40% total. Transformation complete. Growth metrics. Staggering. Market cap. $300 billion to $2.8 trillion. 9 times growth. 800% return. Stock price. $37 to $420. 11 times growth. 1,000% return. Investors. $10,000. February 2014. Worth $110,000. October 2024. Life-changing returns. Revenue breakdown. Fiscal 2024. Intelligent Cloud. Azure and Cloud Services. $100 billion. Productivity and business processes. Office 365. LinkedIn. Dynamics. $75 billion. More personal computing. Windows, Xbox, devices. $70 billion. Total. $245 billion. Cloud now. Largest segment. 40%. Growing fastest. Office transformed. 70% subscription. 30% one-time. Reversing. From previous. Gaming. 20 billion. Growing. After Activision. Profitability. Remarkable. Net income. Fiscal 2024. $88 billion. 36% margins. Higher than Apple, Google, Amazon. Most profitable. Big tech company. Cloud margins. Improving. Azure margins. Low initially. Infrastructure costs high, but scale helped. 2024. Azure margins. 30% profitable growing stock performance. Compared Apple 2014. 600 billion. 2024. 3.4 trillion. 5 times growth. Google 2014. 400 billion. 2024. 2 trillion. 5 times growth. Amazon 2014. 150 billion. 2024. 1.5 trillion. 10 times growth. Microsoft 2014. 300 billion. 2024. 2.8 trillion. 9 times growth. Second only to Amazon. In percentage. But largest. Absolute value. 2.8 trillion. Most valuable. Company. Earth. Briefly. Apple fluctuated between 2.8 and 3.4 trillion. Microsoft between 2.5 and 3 trillion. Trading places. Back and forth. But both. Extraordinary. Nadella. Decade. Unmatched. Returns. Transformation. Growth. Microsoft. Dinosaur to dominant. Again. Cloud. Revolution. 1. Subscription model. Validated. AI. Future. Owned. Nadella's quiet revolution. Loud results. $2.8 trillion. Proof. Satya Nadella. October 2024. Age 57, CEO, 10 years. Transformed Microsoft completely. From PC company to cloud company. From Windows dependence to cloud dominance. From fighting mobile to owning enterprise infrastructure. From hating Linux to embracing open source. From proprietary to platform agnostic. From shrinking to growing. Revolution complete. Microsoft culture changed. Nadella emphasized. Growth mindset. Carol Dweck concept. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Believing you can learn, improve, grow, not stuck, not finished. Always evolving. Nadella applied. To Microsoft. Old Microsoft. Know it all. Arrogant. Defensive. New Microsoft. Learn it all. Humble. Curious. Employees noticed. Collaboration increased. Silos broken. Teams worked together. Innovation accelerated. Diversity improved. Nadella prioritized. Inclusion, accessibility, representation matters. Products improved. AI accessibility features for disabled. For everyone. Leadership style. Contrast. Steve Ballmer. Loud, aggressive, emotional. Sales. Guy. Energy, passion, but missed. Future. Satya. Nadella. Quiet, thoughtful, strategic, engineer, listener, reader. Empathetic, understood, future, cloud, AI, services, subscriptions, one future. Both grew revenues. Ballmer, 25 billion to 77 billion, tripled. Nadella, 77 billion to 245 billion, tripled. But Nadella also transformed. Business model, culture, strategy, products, everything. Ballmer grew. Old Microsoft. Nadella created new Microsoft. Challenges remain. Regulatory scrutiny. Antitrust concerns, EU, US, FTC, Activision acquisition, investigated. Approved, but scrutiny continues. Microsoft dominant, again. Regulators watch. AI ethics, questions, OpenAI partnership, GPT integration, concerns, bias, misinformation, job displacement. Microsoft responsible, AI deployment. Nadella aware, emphasizes, responsible AI, principles, transparency, fairness, accountability. But challenges persist. Competition intensifies. AWS fights back. Google invests. New entrants. Cloud market. Growing, but competitive. Innovation required. Constantly. Nadella's legacy. Already secured. Transformed Microsoft. From irrelevant to indispensable. From dinosaur to dominant. From missing mobile to owning cloud. Quiet revolution. Complete, not loud, not flashy, not bombastic. Quiet, strategic, effective. Nadella proved. Leadership style. Matters. Not loudest. Wins. Smartest. Most strategic. Most patient. Most empathetic. Wins. Microsoft's future, bright, cloud growing, AI accelerating, gaming expanding, subscriptions increasing, revenues growing, profits rising, stock climbing. 2.8 trillion today, 3 trillion. Tomorrow, 4 trillion. Possible. Under Nadella. Anything possible. Quiet revolution continues. Microsoft, reinvented, again and again and again. Because, as Nadella wrote, first day email, our industry, does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation. Microsoft, innovating. Again. Thanks to quiet CEO who changed everything.